Let's start the game over. Yeah. In the building, live on Sunset Strip. You are watching Put Your Family First, the podcast, 4-time award-winning podcast here, located right here at Podcastic, where you get your podcastic. I guess that's fresh off the head, huh? Okay. Right. Anyway, welcome. Glad to be here. Today we are excited because we brought home. Right before we get to that, Miss Heather, how you doing, Dr. Heather?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, the energy is in the building, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When they put the collective in the space, things get light. Yes. So, also, Brother Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing good.
Good. So Shani? Okay, you good? All right. So everybody good. So, first of all, welcome. I want to invite you all in to pay attention. Give your eyes, ears, and hearts and focus to my sister, Crystal Gunn. Show her some love. CG3 in the building. I could come up with something for that, too.
She bring that rapid fire knowledge.
We're going to leave it right there.
Yeah, she know, because we done been on the phone and gone. She like, give me something else for this. Bing. Yeah, so good. Crystal, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good. We are glad that you are in the building.
Same.
And, I know you got something coming up. What is that? I think we got... What is that? A brunch or something that's supposed to be happening? Right, is that? Dave, you remember the brunch last year? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So the Fatherhood Awards brunch last year it was a major tearjerker. People in the room was shook, giving all that love to them fathers, and
that's right.
It was beautiful.
It was
beautiful. So, yeah, this June 21st is going down. God is blessing. You get to see get some of this energy that the collective bring. Whenever we get together is always something, and it's going to be good. So today is no different. Miss Crystal, how are you, and what do you have coming up? or better yet, tell us a little bit about Crystal.
So I will. I'm fantastic.
Okay.
I always have something coming up, but for those that don't know, I am a financial healer, financial strategist, what I also like to call a financial doula, because I help you birth a new financial story, and I'm also a licensed life insurance agent, among other things, but
right.
Yeah.
Amazing woman.
That's right. If you didn't say wow, I will say it for you. Wow, right? And again, in this space, Dave, it's a lot of wows. We wow over here. You know what I mean? So, Crystal, when did this whole financial thing manifest for you? What was that like? What day was it? Was it bleak outside, sunny? Let's get the people exactly what God gave you. Get them their experience.
Absolutely. So we do have to go back, right? So very early on, I worked in the accounting department at a credit union. Went from that credit union to train staff at another credit union in Pontiac, and got offered a job as the accounting manager. They had an accounting manager, though, who was off on extended maternity leave. And I said, well, what happens when she comes back? And the CEO said, well, whoever rises to the top gets to keep the job. And so, of course, I rose to the top and got to keep the job, right?
Better ask somebody.
Right. And went on to become vice president of that credit union, right? And at that time, God, this was My daughter's 24. She wasn't even here yet, right? And at that time, I was the only Black VP in the entire Oakland County chapter of credit unions, which is crazy to think, right? And so went on from there, left there, opened a mortgage company, got married, opened a mortgage company. 5 years in, got divorced, did another mortgage company, tax franchise. It's always been this thing around money and finance. But during that process, I went through, after the divorce and then the tax franchise and then some other things, I just went through the hardest time of my life, financially, emotionally, depression, all of that kicked in. And it was in that, as God will tell you what it is you're supposed to do. When you surrender, though. And that was the first thing. I was like, God, this is not what my life's supposed to be like. Tell me what it is I'm supposed to do. Use me as you see fit. And ooh, did he start to use me. And that first thing was empower and unite Black women globally. And I was like, are you kidding me? Look at my life. It's a wreck. Or so I thought. But it was a preview of things to come. But also during that, it became this whole financial, storm that I wasn't accustomed to. There wasn't a whole lot of people like me back then doing this work. There wasn't social media really that you could get onto and find these gurus. So I had to figure it out. I had to rely on what God gave me, the downloads and the research to figure out how to come through that hole. And I think that was the catalyst to me wanting to serve and being able to serve. And so now I go back into that storm and help people see their way out. Because when you're standing in the middle of it, be it a light mist or torrential downpour, you cannot figure the thing out by yourself. You need help, the skills, and the healing in order to get there. And that's what I do.
That's dope, right? When you say, now we on some, what's that?
Metaphysics?
Not just metaphysics. What's my man name that went into the computer? What's the little movie the sister wrote? And dude came back through the, I forget, with the green sign. I forget the name of the movie. No, the one that the Black woman wrote that led to
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Did he say the green sign?
He did.
Yeah, the Matrix.
But I got you. Yeah.
Right, thank you. I'm over 50. It happens like that. Like, let's get realistic. We get lost.
It's gonna happen a few times in this conversation today. Yeah.
So the Matrix. That's what you did. You went back in.
Correct.
And you can only go back
analogy.
in, right? You can only go back in because you were prepared to go back in. It's a beautiful thing that I see from you all. Go ahead.
And when Heather said we're about to talk about some metaphysics in this piece, what I've come to learn about me on this journey is I decided this in previous lives to be able to do this in this life. And it's just a wonderful thing. And being able to activate these things in specifically Black women, because I believe Black women will lead this financial liberation movement that we have to have. It's what I'm here to do.
Well, thank you. You can't say nothing behind that one. Drop the mic. You know what I mean?
I get to ask some questions.
Yeah, I have to turn
come
to
on,
you. You get the
All
cut.
right. So, can you share some ways that you empower women?
So
you can start with Amazing Woman. Then.
Yeah. So the Amazing Woman Network was, or is that place where, under those pillars of reclaiming personal power, mind, body, and spirit. And why do we need to reclaim it? Because it's been taken from us, because we've forgotten what our power is. We look at these titles, what we do, how much money we have, and all of that, but that's not where our power lies. So helping women reclaim that power personally, mind, body, and spirit, financially, and then doing more in the community, because that is who we are as Black women. We're going to come together and we're going to create community and safe spaces. So that, I do it. I'm someone that speaks life in the people. Like, I see the greatness in you when you don't see it in yourself. And I say, and Heather, you can relate to this, because part of my morning ritual, if you will, in getting dressed, and as I'm thanking God and the universe for these things. But one of the things that I say is thank you for these eyes that allow me to see the seen and the unseen, but it allows me to see the strengths and the weakness in others, allows me to see the weaknesses, not so that I can use it against them, but so that I can speak life into them. And so being able to do that, I think, someone once said, yeah, Crystal, what you do with finances is good, but how you pour into people is like incredible. So I've had to learn to merge the two so that we can heal and do that. So yeah, that is how.
And so some of the ways that you affect women are through the red dot experience, through the, I mean, I can name some, through the workshops, the community workshops on being financially empowered through your books, through your conversation. It's very difficult to have a conversation with you and leave the same that you came into that conversation. So we know these are just a few of the ways, and so just so people understand a little bit more about your backstory, your meridian path, these major benchmarks that have impacted thousands of women at this point. Yeah.
Calvin, why your head?
Oh, I'm accustomed to it. It's brand new to everybody else.
Right. So talk about the red dots. To start there, because I think that's a really important opportunity for us to uplift this topic.
So the Red Dot Project is twofold. We've kind of focused mostly on one half of that coin. It's all about us doing our role to help eliminate period poverty. So we come together and we do what we call red dot packing parties, where we pack sanitary supplies and give them to organizations who service the community that will need those supplies, right? And oftentimes we think it's just the downtrodden, if you will, that would need those. But if you remember COVID, and you would see on TV the lines of people in cars getting food, right? That's the same population, whoever it is and however much money they make, it's the same population that needs sanitary supplies because they're expensive, and people don't donate them because they're expensive. So we do that. We try to do it at least 2 to 3 times a year, and again, giving to organizations that service those people. So
and schools.
We've done, yes. And then the other half of that, though, which hopefully in 2025 to 2026 we get to implement that piece, is you cannot eradicate period poverty without addressing poverty. So there is an issue for that. So we can't just keep putting a Band-Aid on a thing. We have to solve issues. So that where's the financial education and financial empowerment and being able to bring tools and resources that people then eventually don't need the services. Yeah. So that's what we do with that.
So can you shift over to the books so people have a way to connect with you through the extended CL Gunn?
Yes. So crystalgunn.com. You can go and hit shop, and you can find some of the ebooks and books. I have a couple books. Financially Flawless Question. One is a couples edition, and one is the single mothers edition. And each book has over 60 questions for you to have conversation with, because we don't know how to talk about money because we don't talk about money. Right? And so we have to understand, especially in that couples edition, where if you're bringing 2 people from separate households, separate upbringings into a unit, well, we did things differently. And because we as people have been conditioned that I'm right and you're wrong. If you've done something a certain kind of way, I can't tell you that how you survived all your life doing a thing financially this kind of way that you're wrong. You're not going to listen to me. So it kind of brings those questions together, and it gives you, instruction on how to actually have those type of conversations, right? Because they can be heated. There is the Becoming Financially Flawless workbook, which is for women. It's a 40-day workbook that gives you things to do, because part of fixing that story is we need to know what to do, and because we've been robbed of that, we don't know what to do. So giving you instruction on how to do that. I'm probably missing some other things, but
that's a good space because people know where to go to explore that.
Exactly.
So the next space that I didn't mention the first time that I do want you to talk about your podcast.
Oh, Amazing Women Speak. So thank you very much. And it was born out of a conversation between let's go back. I used to do a magazine, Amazing Women Speak magazine, right? and stopped doing it, I don't know, 2013, 2014. Always knew I wanted to do something with Amazing Women Speak. So we started a podcast. Yesterday was the end of season 4. So we've been doing this for 4 years now, right? And it was born out of giving a voice to women, right? Because we hear that. Can we cuss on this show? We hear. Okay.
Yeah, because you're biased. Go ahead.
We've been fed this, and the conversation between my best friend and I was talking about these very things and how women have, and Black women specifically, have been fed this narrative. You have to look a certain kind of way. You have to dress a certain kind of way. You got to do all of these things to, reach the bar. But that bar is ever moving. It's unrealistic. It's, trying to do it, called spirit hate, self-hate evoking and all of that, depression causing. And she was like, that's the bullshit we need to talk about. And it was like, oh, okay. And that's how we started back with the podcast. And so that very first episode for that first year, and it has been for the last 4 seasons, was that bullshit bar, and talking about those things that Black women specifically have to deal with. So it's never catty. It's never, we're not talking about we hate Black men. Like, we're not doing any of that, the separation of family and all of that. It literally is Black women being able to tell their story. There's always a topic, and they're speaking from whatever topic that is. And so we ended the season with when I realized and owned my amazing, because it's a process to get to that. So it's just really and truly about bringing conversations to uplift and inspire Black women to own, honor, execute their amazing individually and collectively as it was established at birth. Because we forget that we were amazing when we were here. All of these other things that have happened, but when we came here, God created us to be amazing. And so it's the remembrance of that.
I just want to interject a little bit.
Don't say that I'm biased.
She said something earlier that when she said she felt like this is a conversation from generations ago. And I laughed because as the seed carrier, the magic that the Father can produce. I just wanted to
throw that in there. But watch this. If I'm healed, if as a Black woman I'm healed,
yes,
then I can come into a relationship healed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it goes back into what you guys do so well, that restoration of family.
Yes.
Which we ultimately have to get to. And I believe when Black women are healed, we help to heal our mates, our children, the communities in which we serve.
Yeah, we're going to meet you halfway.
Yeah.
I believe that.
But and we cannot do it alone.
Right.
We need you, right?
Yeah.
But we also have that whole healing that we have to do as as women.
That's dope.
So Crystal, when you use
Hold on.
wait.
Dave, you got a question? I mean,
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
This man has
Right.
Exercising
Okay.
her gun. I ain't mad at you.
You know what happens when Heather and I get together.
Yeah.
I love it because, again, elevating our Black women to a different plateau is so important, especially when you talk about finances with the family being broken, if you will, to help women become stronger economically in this society as we have seen them rise to the top, not just economically, but academically, spiritually, socially. This is good, and they need individuals like yourself who brings that light in the midst of a darkness of ignorance. So I commend you on that. Now, what I want to ask you in regards, because this is my thing, couple therapy. So how do you help the men to adapt to the change that women are now economically sound and bringing in the dollars a little more than them? Because I've had a couple of couples who basically have broken up because when they seen their women or wives, if you will, rise up, they become threatened. So how do you ease that pressure? Because I have one right now who just finished her nurse practitioner degree and was preparing for the board, but she had to stop because he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle that she was rising.
Is this a black couple?
This is a black couple. And when I was in nursing school, I watched so many women drop out because of the fact that the husbands couldn't handle that the woman now was bringing in more than he was. And so there is a check and balance. What's your approach to that?
So, one of the things that women have to understand, and when we're doing this whole system was designed to break us and to keep us separate, right? And so it doesn't mean that you don't go and you don't keep elevating in order to bring more money into this house to gain better position. But how then, once you have that, are you dealing with this man in this house, right? And so it comes with a lot of conversation. And I don't think the conversation starts once the paycheck increases. It has to start from the beginning. We have to be talking about finances, emotions, and what this looks like for our house from the beginning. And that goes back to why couples need to go to couples counseling before they even get married, right?
Send them to me.
Because again, you're bringing these two people, two different beliefs from two different households. They saw things, how they were raised in their households differently. Well, how do you merge that together so that we don't feel this? And then society has this thing so twisted because now they want to say, you make all this money, black woman, you don't need this black man. That's the conditioning and the tearing apart of the black family, which hurts the family, those children. And I'm always talking about we need to look at 10 generations deep. Well, what is it doing to those following generations? You got to have conversations. So what I find with my personal financial coaching clients, they heal, and it's a much better experience for them when they also have a therapist, right? Because we're going to do some financial therapy and things are going to come up. But I'm not clinically trained for all of that, so I do the best that I can. But then now we've figured out these issues, you go over there and you can talk through that piece. And so I think it's that same piece. She has to be able to wrap her mind around, and then he has to be able to wrap his mind around a thing. But how do we come together to make it work? How do I handle it? I think it's going to be different for everybody.
And that's okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and that's where effective communication comes into play. Teaching people how to. Let's just look at it from background. Now, often when I'm sitting down with clients, I say to them, just give me a basic thing. Give me your definition of love. Now, if you got one meaning, I got one meaning, and then things don't work out the way we thought it meant because we never discussed it, then we always going to have conflict. So being able to break down going into a relationship when it comes down to your finances is significant too, because as you said, we come from different backgrounds with different philosophies about money.
From the male perspective, the men that we deal with, it's a behavioral acceptance, right? How do you accept the behavior of compromise and consensus and coming together when it comes to money? Dr. David Pate, I remember interviewing Dr. David Pate, and we were having this conversation, and he said that in 30 years of research on black males, they have a significant problem when it comes to their woman making more than them, right? And I said, it depends on the black male that you interviewed. I know a lot of men and women who money is not their God and their relationship thrive. I think a lot of times what has happened is we apply pressure as males upon ourselves that puts us in this category that the only thing that's connected to me as my value is money.
And when I make more than you,
I feel empowered to act as though I have this much power, not understanding how to conduct yourself when you have leadership and understanding that money is a resource and a tool, but it is not your God. And I think a lot of times we've made God the end all, the be all is when I got money, this is what I feel like, but you miss all the other fabrics in your foundation of understanding, communication, requirement, attendance, surface love, intimate love, close love. It's easy for me to enter a relationship and I can come in and be dominant sexually, but I don't know the first thing about making love, and I don't even understand and know how to operate from that. And it's the same thing in our relationships when we get with someone. It's the superficial part that brought us together, and so our foundations never gelled. And so that's, in my opinion, as I tell other men, that's their biggest flaw in a relationship, is understanding that's why we speak on value so highly. All right, Machine Gun Kelly, hold on before you start shooting. Go to the commercial, please.
Not Machine Gun Kelly.
Because you know that.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I got so much energy because of that, you know. So I'm very, very talkative. Welcome back. So this is the place and time where we're gonna call this moment Just Her. As we sit back and experience this transition, get your pencils and piece of papers ready, ladies and people. And take some notes, because it's going to be some fire that come through this microphone that I don't know how you feel, but I love when I'm with these two. All right.
I just wanted to start this conversation. We use healing a lot in the world today, and I believe what healing means for you individually and what it means for us collectively. I would like for you to share some of the healing journeys that you've seen in your clients, you've seen that is a need in our families, in our women, especially in our community.
Yeah, so when we look at financial relationships, everyone has a personal financial relationship. Wasn't defined by you, doesn't work in your favor, right? It was defined by what we inherited generationally. And I'm not talking about assets. Because even in school, where they talk about during Black History Month, they don't look at pre-slavery. Everything starts with slavery. Like, that's where our history began, right? Mm-hmm. So you start off in a place of lack. Mm-hmm. And if you look at during slavery, our labor was exploited. So we didn't have any income. So we had no income, we had no money to budget, right? Well, post-emancipation, what happens? Now we got a little bit of income. So we got to make sure we pay the bills. So even today, when I look at and I talk to people, and if they have a written budget, 9 times out of 10, the only thing that's on that budget is bills. Mm-hmm. So that rest of that money, they're not being intentional with, and they look up and they're like, well, where's all my money going? So that, again, that relationship being defined by what you inherited generationally, that's still showing up. what you saw growing up as a child, what you were taught, what you weren't taught, what you were told, what you overheard when you shouldn't have been listening, what you saw in the community, what happened throughout your life, the traumas, who let you down. Were you trying to be a cool kid in high school, so you bought all of the designer clothes, and you look up and you got 10 closets packed with clothes, and you still buy them and you can't even wear them all of those things, social media, your friends, your family, music, TV, all deciding and defining your financial relationship doesn't work in your favor. So when we talk about healing, that is that first step. And so when I talk about liberation is a three-legged stool, if you will. And I don't think it's a destination, it is a journey. But that first part of that stool is healing. I don't care how much we talk about black people supposed to support one another and shop black and do all of those things. There are those that do it, and we do it well with intention. But as a collective, until we heal those things, we can't do that. Because if my financial relationship is messed up and I'm broke and don't have any money and got bad credit, well, I look at you. You are a mirror to me, and I feel like yours is the same way, so I'm not going to support you, right? But then there's also those other traumas. So all of that impacting your money story. And I think my biggest job, I always say the numbers are easy, but until we find out why your numbers look the way that they look, making more money is never the solution, right? Because if you make more money, all of those other things are still going to show up.
That's right.
So when you talk about some of the transformations, and I love that you asked that question because it gives people an opportunity to understand. I have a client who, and understand when I first started doing personal coaching, I thought, 90 days, 120 days, we will be able to create this system for you and you'll be done. And it was like, no, ma'am, that is not how this works, because we're broken. And it's not our fault. And so part of what I do is I get people to understand that, why they operate the way that they do, but also to forgive themselves for it. I didn't do the things right. I don't have the money. I don't have what I think I should have, being however old I am. Okay, well, you have to forgive all that. Let's fix it. So I have a client who makes really, really good money. One of her goals was she wanted to save $1,000 in a year. She just wanted to save $1,000 in 1 year, right? And so as we're going through this process, again, figuring out all of these other things, and we now have all of her expenses listed, and there was like $2,000 left over each month that we needed to assign a job. Every dollar needs a job, right? She couldn't even look at that number. Like, it literally sent her anxiety and everything. And it was like, okay, I need you to tell me what's going on. And she said, when I see money sitting in my bank account, I have to spend it out of fear of it being taken away from me. So we think we're just bad with money. You're not bad with money. There's a reason why that happens. And so with that help of her therapist, she was able to get through that. Now, whatever that trauma was that happened, right? But it was coming up and realizing that. And now she's saving over $1,000 a week. This is in addition to whatever else, what was going into retirement and all of that. But healing that thing, and until we named the thing and saw it, she couldn't heal it. And I always say, I lead with finances, but when you heal and redefine your personal financial relationship, it positively impacts every other area of your life. Mm-hmm. Because the same things that are showing up and messing up your financial relationship are messing up they're showing up in all those other areas too. So that's just like one of the things that, we have to figure out. We don't know why we operate the way that we do, and it's gonna come up in conversation. And so it's that's why I say it's more, the numbers are easy. We can put a plan together for you to save over $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't healed that trauma,
so you're dealing with the symptoms but not the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't heal what you don't reveal.
You gotta name the thing. Mm-hmm. You gotta name the thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. It's when you offer coaching and support to community, to families, and women in particular, because you have an opportunity to have a listening, but a more listening. We have an intention for people. and I can say that about everybody in this room right now. We have an intention for people. We have an intention for our culture to rise. We have an intention to make our gifts available. And I know that as we do that, the value of what we offer is being lifted up so people can see it.
Right.
See what we offer. This is what we do because this is how we have been shaped. And so you don't have to do anything. I would ask you to consider that as you are taking these steps and doing your self-reflection, when you find out that there is a need in this space, go to the expert.
Please go to the expert.
Go to the expert. Go to the person, one, that resonates with you, because that's important. 2, listen to your referrals. And then 3, do some self-assessments to help you gain the knowledge, because for the process of change, this theory of change that I work with, the first step of that is information. You need new information. But if you never appreciate that information, you can't get to step 2. And so we're floating around with, all these conference bags and and folders and flyers that you're going to eventually get back to. There's a breakdown between going to a conference or a class or a workshop in whatever form, whether it's in person, online, or, self-study, all of those things. If you're not making that connection for new information and then appreciation, it's hard to do step 3, which is application. And in everything that all of us do, those first 3 steps, you can't get to transformation without it.
You cannot.
And so I think it's really important that you, one, and I know you're going to do this a couple of times, but let us know how to reach out to you to make sure that people have a way to connect. So I'm telling you, if you're not listening or you don't know, Crystal is a subject matter expert. Dave is a subject matter expert. Calvin is a subject matter expert. I am a subject matter expert. Chantel is a subject matter expert. Go to your experts that resonate with you first, because that part of that resonance that you feel for a person is part of the calling or the energetic draw, because this is not all physical. The season that we're in is about our spiritual journey and our physical journey, and how do we balance the two. So when you even look at the problem, now I love that you said that, when you look at the problem of our financial journey, it's a spiritual journey as well. It's back to your why. It's back to what happened. What did you hear? What did you learn? So it goes back to that. So I'm so excited that you shared that, because we really need to consider how we take next steps and what is our process for getting there. So I encourage you to first take the new information, sit on it, and if it's coming from this expert source, I would ask you to embody that, appreciate the source, so you know the value of what you're bringing. And this is not free. And freedom is not free. How about that, Juneteenth, right? Freedom is not free. But when you have people who have the intention for your best, those are the people you need to go to first.
So, Crystal, what is it that you're doing right now? You've been in the middle of this campaign.
Yep. So we have, through the Amazing Woman Network, we have Financially Flawless Masterclass series, right? And let me just stop at flawless. Y'all know me, I love a good acronym, right? But it's not just an acronym. I believe it's also a mantra. Financially literate, amazing women learning economic success strategies. We have to learn the things in order to apply them. And side note, I'll get back to the series. We have to put as much value or more value on financial education as we do is going to get a degree. Because making more money where it's helpful and beneficial is not the answer to getting out of survival mode. Because most people are living in survival mode. They don't even know. So the series is, because I'm a firm believer in that you can't talk about too many aspects of finance at one session, because people will leave and not do anything. And so tonight is protection. So all things life insurance. And you're going to hear from me things that you just never heard before. I'm not just giving you, I'm going to tell you what a term policy is, but I'm also going to tell you how you need to use one so that you can see and hear real life application. Because that's the other thing. If I come and I just give you this information, this is what a term policy is, this is what an IUL policy is, this is, and with the whole conversations that have happened around making sure families have money to bury somebody, I think the rest of the benefits of life insurance get lost on how to build wealth, how to use it so that your children can experience wealth in this life and not just after you die, right? So we have life insurance, so protecting those that you love, and I go from a place of protecting the assets, and protecting the money, right? Next Monday is generational wealth, because we talk about it, it's a buzzword, but how we gonna pass it down if we don't have none, right? So showing you how to be able to do that. Then there is the following Monday is the soul of money, and that really just is not talking about the numbers, but talking about all of the things that impact the numbers. And then we end on June 9th with credit mastery, right? And so that's
awesome. See that? No one got hurt. We're all in one piece.
So register, and
Yes.
Heather asked, so I'm going to give a bit.ly link, because then it has all of the other links. So bit.ly/Crystal, CRYSTAL -Gunn, GUNN, and it'll have all of the links for all of my things.
And they can get that on your page, right?
No, that's why I'm giving it to y'all now.
Okay, well, we gotta get that on your page.
And we can put it in the
comments, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because you can go to crystalgunn.com, but you're not gonna find all of these other things. For the classes, though, you can go to amazingwoman, WOMAN network.com, and if you click events, those classes will be there as well.
Okay. See how that works? So
Nobody got work.
So Crystal, here we go.
Yep.
So this is the point where you tell us, what do Crystal do for fun?
This.
No, we need some fun.
But that's the thing. This is fun for me.
Yeah, it's fun for me too. But I'm gonna tell you like I was told. What else do you do for fun? Like it's bowling, cigars, it's trivia.
So recently, my best friend and another close friend, and y'all are gonna be like, y'all are so boring. We'll come together and do these jigsaw puzzles, right?
Okay,
Which is really, for me, it gets my mind off of all of the other stuff, and it still winds up being a little intense. But that thing, I don't bowl, I do like cigars. You have to get me out of the house. I'm game for the thing. Right? But you got to get me out of the house, because I'm so okay with what I'm supposed to be doing in this life.
Yes.
That I will get wrapped up into that. So I'm down for the fun, but I ain't going to come up with the idea.
Our purpose is our toy.
Yeah, it's just like,
I did it Saturday
course.
and Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I get it, but I do like every now and then FaceTime my brother, and we do a cigar and crack jokes for a half hour, right? And I like getting on the phone, that type of thing. There's some things I do like to do. I like to go. I have somebody keeping me away from Mexican food. I haven't had any Mexican food in a long time. This is my chance to throw that little buzz piece out there. They're keeping me away from the Mexican food, right? But I like that. I like every now and then. It's just fun to do something else. So that's why that's a question.
It's an interesting thing. So I had Camille, who is founder and CEO of Motor City Dance Factory, right? And this thing came out. It was not like what you do for fun, but what do you do outside of work? But this is her thing. And she said what she realized was anybody who wanted to spend time with her, they came to the studio, right? And they would take part in Okay, they would help with whatever the things were that were going on to do that thing. And it winds up, if you have a calling on your life, it's really difficult to then say, okay, I just want to go over here and play and have some fun. Because what you're doing is fun.
Yeah.
So
it kind of answers that, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta look into the camera. You gotta say your whole name, and then you have to say, "Encourage me, I'm young." Look into the camera. Say your whole name.
Say that with more complexity,
And right,
she's like, huh?
And say, "Encourage me, I'm young."
I am Crystal L. Gunn. Encourage me, I'm young.
Good.
I was waiting for you to say financial strategist.
Right.
Encourage me. I mean, that was just. I was already ahead.
Yeah. I just tried to be obedient and do what he said.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with obedience. Ladies, did you hear that? Right. Did you hear that?
I do want to just ask Chantel if she would chime in on this. So, Chantel, as a young woman, knowing that you have in the room a financial strategist extraordinaire, subject matter expert, what do you think young women your age should be asking in preparation for this journey of your financial breakthroughs
that you're willing to part with?
Yeah, exactly. I would say that's very interesting. I feel like we need more financial literacy. I feel like we are not taught that in school. We're not taught that in college. I feel like we actually learn from making the mistakes, and at that point it's too late. So just basic budgeting, or just how to put your money there. Investing, I feel like all of those are things that we kind of need to get better acquainted with, and it'll set us up for more success in the future versus having to always play catch up, or having to learn from the mistakes that can cost you credit score points because they drop drastically. So yeah, I think that those are just common things that as a young woman I would have wanted to maybe learn more about, especially credit, and then also just moving forward to try to stay ahead somewhat.
So I'm going to address this in a few different ways, and thank you for that honesty and transparency. I don't like to use the word budget.
Okay.
Because
is it not real?
Well, if you look up the word budget,
okay,
you'll get a definition that says something like tracking income and expenses. I teach people how to be intentional with their money. There's a difference. So if I'm tracking, that means I'm tracking what I already spent. Well, that doesn't help me. Right?
It's gone.
It's already gone,
Yeah.
right? And so, but everything, and so I teach a financial system of success, which really and truly is an efficient and effective budget. But also, when people hear the word budget, they think restrictions. They shy away from that. Every dollar you earn should have a job, right? So we know we have the bills. So those dollars are already assigned that job. Well, now we got this money left over. What are we assigning a job for those dollars? Do we like to travel? So are we putting money into a travel account, right? We know we like to shop. So are we putting money away aside from that, right? So all of those things that you then get to live life intentionally and deliberately as opposed to reactively. Most people are reacting to the thing. They get paid today, they're going to pay their bills, and they're going to live life later, right? And that financial system of success allows you to live the life you desire and deserve. And I always say deserve because we've been conditioned to desire less than we deserve.
I agree.
Right? And so it's not you can't have the things. It's you need to have the things, and how do you want to live your life today, tomorrow, and in the future, and 10 generations deep, right? We got to think that. The other thing is, we just got to go get the information, because you specifically said budgeting and credit, right? Those are two pieces of the pie. And we don't know what we don't know. So we just need to show up to whatever it is, right? Oh, they're talking about our life insurance today. Let me show up. Oh, they're talking about credit tomorrow. Let me show up. They're talking about, you got to show up because we don't know what we don't know, right? Yes. And so for me is if you come and you learn one thing that you didn't know before that's going to help you elevate to the next level, you're winning, right? And it's our obligation. Now I'm talking to the black women. It is our obligation to do this. We are the first teachers of our children because, right, we're there. We're natural nurturers. We're natural designers of those ecosystems. So when we start to do what we do naturally, we gotta have the information in order to be able to do what we do and what we've done historically. And without it, we fail, right? When we look at the median family wealth for a black family, it's about $25,000. For a white family, it's $250,000, right? For most black folks, I think it's like 60 to 69%, their wealth is tied to the equity in their house. So when the market fluctuates and the values go down, so do your equity, right? Yeah. And they talk about get a house so that you can build your wealth. Well, you don't have no wealth until the house is paid off. The equity in it is where it is. But you got to come get the information. And we know it's not taught by design, but it's our duty to step up and say, it's my responsibility. I had a friend of mine who has a new great-grandbaby, less than 6 months old. And I said to her, I said, so you ready to talk about this insurance policy so we can get an insurance policy for this grandbaby, for this great-grandbaby? And she said, well, that's the parents' job. No, ma'am, it's your job.
I say it's everybody's job.
Because the parents don't know and the grandparents don't know, because guess what? They weren't taught. So it's our responsibility from the generational standpoint that we have to do the thing. And so black women naturally do this thing as we rise together, and the system has tried to break that thing down, right? And historically, ancient cultures, they were protectors and they made the wealth decisions for 7 generations in mind, right? And I push it to 10, and if we teach every generation to think 10 generations down, we change the trajectory and what the wealth looks like in our community. Again, because of the things that we are, the nurturers, what we were in ancient cultures, it's our responsibility to do it today. So show up and get the information, because you don't know what you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have one question. I did hear you say that every piece of money should have its own job.
Correct.
So do you believe that money can't be out of sight, out of mind? Like, you know how some people pretty much say, like, hey, have you a little tuck away here? Do you feel like you always tend to go back there because you know it's there, as opposed to it being a sign?
So, yes, I don't really believe in out of sight, out of mind. It might be out of reach, out of mind. You can't save money in the same account from which you spend. Right? Yeah. So when my daughter was 5, she's 20, she'll be 24. She'll be 24 this year. But when she was like 5 or 6, we did this thing where we went and we got 3 jars. And every time she got money, I would break the money down, but she would have to divide it. 10% in your give jar, 20% in your spend jar, 70% in your freedom jar. That was savings. So now, once she got older, it moved from jars to bank accounts, but we have to be able to separate our money. You might have an account where all of your bills, the money goes for all of your bills. Again, you may have an account for travel and for shopping. And so now, entertainment, miscellaneous, right? Everything that you spend money on needs to go in that financial system of success, because I don't like the word budget, right? I don't care if it's weed, alcohol, entertainment. If you're going to the strip club, what are you spending money on? It needs to have a job, again, because we're trying to be intentional with the money and not reactionary with the money. So, yeah. So you may say, this is where my main money is, but this money that I'm putting for travel, this money, it might be at another bank account.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. Brother Dave, last statement, and tell them where they can reach you at.
Just keep being amazing. You're being the difference that make a difference. And like she said, we're intentional, and you definitely are making the intentions known that women can rise to the top. You can reach me at FMAM, 4 Men About Men, and on Facebook, and DRome7 at yahoo.com.
Miss Heather?
You can reach me at yourinspired with a D, yourinspiredjourney.com. And you can reach me by phone at 759-7855.
Crystal?
Crystal at crystalgunn.com. You also can call me, shoot me a text message, 313-570-7569. And again, bit.ly/crystal-gunn.
I need you to give me One sentence advice. Go. One sentence advice line. Crystal.
Understand and recognize that you have the power to change your life forever if you put in the work to do it. It all starts and stops with you. Amen. There was a comma in there.
Yeah. I got you. You can reach me at calvintman.com. Hey, listen, if you didn't get this lesson, I think you might have missed something, and so I'm going to suggest to you that you share this video, tap back in, reach out to Crystal and anybody else you want to reach out to Heather and whoever the expert, as Heather has said. The issue remains that, do you believe you can't, or do you believe you can? And the object is for you to believe that you can. Belief and faith, they kind of walk side by side. And in order for you to see your way into, your journey, as she specifically put, she went back in. She was a returning citizen to the walk of life for these women to understand the experience and the lessons that she brings, right? And that's an important piece for us all to learn. Sometimes God uses you to go back and bring people out of the abyss. You can call it the Harriet Tubman disease. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But once you understand the war you came out of, there is something that's special about you when you go back in and you try to deliver as many people as possible. That's purpose. And if it's a gift, remember, God is always attached to it. Mm-hmm. My name is Calvin Mann, president and founder of Encourage Me, I'm Young. You have been listening to EMIYTV. God bless you and encourage me. I'm young. Peace.
Let's start the game over.